Got these dumb, ignorant, hell-bound congressmen in Congress trying to define what a woman is.
That's right.
Do you know this discussion that's going on in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
To entertain the transgender community.
Yeah.
What is a woman?
What is a woman?
It's your mama.
The Democrats are having trouble with black men. And you want to know why? It's because they are trying their best to flip what black men know what is true. They're trying to flip what black men know to be reality. Men are men, women are women.
Dumb, ignorant, hell-bound congressmen in Congress trying to define what a woman is.
That's right.
Do you know this discussion that's going on in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
To entertain the transgender community.
Yeah.
What is a woman?
What is a woman?
It's your mama.
That's right. Plain and simple.
You that confused? Let me come and watch it. I tell you, it's your mama. It sure ain't your daddy.
That's right. Go ahead.
And see, it's truth like this that a lot of black men are not receiving in today's black churches. That's why a lot of black men are not joining these churches. And that's why the Democratic Party is having trouble with black men. That's why they're trying to make sure that black men stay in line.
Biden became the first Democrat to win a presidential election in Georgia since 1992 when he won in 2020. And just to show how crucial black voters were to that win, by our calculations, if less than 1% of black voters stayed home or voted for Trump, the outcome of this election could have been very different. And basically something that we heard on the ground from the director of organizer from the New Georgia Project, which is easily pushing the largest voters registration efforts in the state. They've registered about 30,000 people alone this year. He said people are just frankly not running and jumping about another term of President Biden, and they're frankly keeping their options open. And that's something that I heard from voters consistently, is that while they're aware that Joe Biden could be the default, they're still wanting to see who else could potentially get in this race. At least one voter told me they were considering Cornel West, but the majority of people here said, even though they may just be voting for Joe Biden in the end of this, their big concerns right now is the economy. They're still feeling the stress of inflation, and jobs are drying up in the state. Even though we've seen some of this good economic data, we just haven't seen those perceptions seem to catch up yet. And as you mentioned, these unfulfilled promises. Student debt was something that we heard consistently from voters, that they really wanted to see that policy come to fruition. But obviously after the Supreme Court struck it down, we know Biden is trying again, but they were really disappointed that that hasn't happened yet.
And you mentioned Cornel West, who by any measure is a pretty fringe candidate, but we all remember Jill Stein in 2016. If West even pulls off a sliver of voters, black voters in particular, that could be the difference in some of these states. So tell us, what's the Biden campaigns? Are they aware of this potential issue? And what's their plan to try to make sure they keep those voters in line?
Because black men are recognizing the fact that the Democratic Party, and as a matter of fact, this whole political system in and of itself is not meant to earn their vote, to garner their vote. And so therefore, a lot of black men are stepping back, assuming the God-given position that they have as the head of their homes, as the leader of their communities, and recognizing the fact we have to stop this filth, stop this stuff from promulgating further and further in our generations and our communities. And it's good to see pastors like Gino Jennings speak out about this stuff.
Yeah, all you women that got babies, they don't want the women now to be called mothers. They want them to be called baby carriers.
What?
You know, like you're a freightliner. Like you're a freightliner. Baby carriers. And you know these dumb, ignorant congressmen is considering it? Wow. What's a woman? Your mama!
Your mama. That's right.
President Biden joining in on the conversation. We didn't know what a woman. We didn't know what a woman is.
That was a great President Biden imitation, Gino Jennings. That was a great President Biden imitation.
The woman is your mama.
That's right. Tell him about Pastor.
That man is past 80, isn't he? You past 80, right?
I believe so.
You mean to tell me you past 80 and you don't know your mama and your wife
That's right.
is a woman?
Lord help us.
He knows what it is, but he's trying to gain that vote. The Democrats know what it is, but they see a new voting bloc, and so they're going to do their best to acquire that vote at the expense of truth at the expense of the black community. And that's why they're struggling to garner sympathy, struggling to garner encouragement in the black community, in particular with black men. Black men are waking up to this fact that, hey, these people don't care about us. They have elevated the black woman over the black man. They're the ones, for the most part, who has created the matriarchy in our communities. So we need to stand up, rise up, understand biblical order, understand biblical masculinity, understand who we are as men, who God has created us to be, and take our rightful position.
And this idea that God created us to be priest, prophet, and provider and protector.
That's what you're seeing in the black community. And that's why the black men, for the most part, are slowly turning away from the Democratic Party. I'm not saying they're going to the Republican Party, but they're wising up to the fact that, look, man, this system that has been put in place by the elites, this system is not meant to elevate black men if you continue to operate within it. And so therefore you have to operate above it. And the only way you can operate above it is to operate with the principles of the kingdom of God. That's the only way you can live above this system that unfortunately is meant to keep black men in traps, to keep them entrapped in a perpetual cycle of victimhood. We are not victims. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.